Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Football Focus SG podcast with myself, Faiz, Mr. JB, and the one and only legendary Singapore player. He is also the Singapore League winner, Singapore Cup winner himself, and Geylang International coach right now, Mr. Noor Ali. Welcome to our humble podcast. How are you doing, Mr. Noor?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I've been following you guys and watching what you guys have done. I think it's fantastic, to
Thank
support the
you.
local football.
Thank you.
I'm doing good. Having a nice break at this point in time before the stats start again next season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
are you having optimistic towards the next season?
definitely, man. You always have to start positive. Every year it's a learning experience. Whether you do well or you don't, it's always a learning experience. For me, I have a decent squad. Some new signing, definitely a very new team next season. But I think you just gotta stay positive, and believe in whatever you do, and hopefully we'll get back to winning ways again next season.
Oh, amazing, amazing. And for those people who normally see, we always have Mr. JB and also Hairun Nazri, but unfortunately, Hairun Nazri is not available for today due to daddy duties, having to take care of family, get well soon to all of them. So get well soon to the kids as well. So we have Mr. JB as well. Just want to ask you briefly, this is your first appearance showing your face, a face reveal,
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
a half face reveal. So
Yes, yes.
what's
oh,
the
it's a
sort of thing?
reveal, lah.
Yeah. So previously you've been
Yes,
using like a
finally.
picture before
Yep,
the
all
picture.
along,
Ah,
all along I've been using a picture, and I think it's easier to talk behind a picture, right? And I'm sure Coach
yeah,
Noali will probably attest to
yeah,
this
yeah.
with all the Facebook people and everything else. So yeah, so for the first time I choose to come out, and hopefully with my face here, I think I'll be more careful with what I say, lah. Huh?
Understood, understood. So we're gonna have a bit of a question and answer, but first of all, Mr. Nwali, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like maybe you can share. We want to know more about your history as well. Like how do you get involved
Oh,
with football? What's your favorite team? Who do you grow up to look up upon? Share with us.
okay. Uh, Basically, I did football is not my first sport lah, and I've
Hmm.
never been into football.
Oh,
Because I came from a Chinese school. I came from
ah,
Taunan Primary, which is
okay.
in Marine Parade. Then I went to Dunman. So I was always into badminton. You know,
Mm.
and
Wow.
I always wanted to be a young or Miss Boon Sidik, but I didn't turn up one.
I think
So
that was quite a popular sport also back then, right?
very very popular
Yeah,
sport.
yeah.
And because of the competition where we play with the Hokkien Hui Kwan schools,
Yeah,
so definitely you have to be a very good badminton player to compete that level lah.
yeah.
But saying that, I was just a street soccer boy lah. So basically
Hmm.
under void deck, play at Marine Parade with the Marine Parade boys. My old friends.
Wow.
Then I think I got a few breaks in between, and got the opportunity to go for some trials.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still not into soccer until when I came to about 18 years old. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
there's a story behind that lah. I was a very naughty boy, very naughty boy. You know,
I'm sure we all
so
are. I'm sure we all are.
yeah. So I got into the wrong side of the laws, and then I was put into probation.
Hmm.
I've got nothing to hide. I think it was a turning point in my life.
Ah,
So and that's when I started to go into football.
hmm.
Because I was put into the Home United. I would say that time they call it police lah, the police
Yeah,
under 18 team. So
yeah.
that's why I started to have a bit more interest in football, and I stayed and I went to Tiong Bahru under 18. We were champions 2 years in a row. Then I was very lucky because when when I finished my national service, that's when SPL actually, the S League actually
That's
started
like,
in
yeah,
1996.
yeah.
I ORD in 1995, and I started, I signed a professional contract in 1996. And to be honest, at that time, the salary is damn small for me
Yeah.
because you have stars like, you have big stars back then, big stars,
Ah.
So I was only earning about 1,500, that's all,
Oh,
you
wow.
know. Yeah, so it's quite a very small money, yeah.
Yeah.
Because for you to go out there, but
Me as a
I took
footballer,
the
yeah,
risk. Yeah, but I took the risk, but every year I start to grow as a player in Tampines. I went to Geylang, start
Mm.
winning things. Went to the national team. was part of the Tiger Cup winning team, played another 2 edition of Suzuki Cup. I
Yeah.
mean, as a player, I'm happy with my journey. I think there's no looking back. I think what I wanted, I achieved, to play for the national team, play for club, play at certain level, got an individual. I was nominated, all 3 nominated only. I've not won in yet. Young Player of the Year, 1997. Then 2007, I was nominated Player of the Year. And 2019, I was nominated Coach of the Year. So I think you are happy that you are being recognized in the league for so many years, So of course, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles. I've gone through like 20 over years in this game, in this industry. But I just want to stay positive and just keep on moving. I think this is something that not many of us can manage to do, because something that you love doing as a hobby, but actually you make it as a career, or I would say like a job for you, to do, so every day you wake up and you look forward to do this, So I mean, I enjoyed my 20 over years being part of S League to the Singapore Premier League, and looking at now LCS being one of the richest team in the league. So I mean, that's
a challenge,
nice to see, Yeah, it's a good challenge. So at least you see something is progressing, So that's nice to see. Yeah. I'm a bit long-winded, sorry.
No, hey, it's fine. No. This is all about you. We are more than, because personally, me and Mr. JB, we grew up watching as well. Especially in the early 2000s as well, when we watched the Singapore football back when there's still Jurong, Sembawang Rangers, Clementi, all still in the S League. Watch and you are definitely one of our main household name in Singapore. Singapore player, you are definitely one of the lists that we can remember of. A very household name. So, Mr. JB, gonna go over to you.
Okay.
Do you have a question for our special guest here, Mr. Noali?
Yeah, actually, I have a quick question. But I think before I begin, probably Coach Noali can share which team he actually supported.
Oh yeah. Which team do you support?
You mean like
we can share Singapore, Europe, whichever.
Okay, I'm a big Man U fan lah. I've been following them, for so many years. I was still stick by them. I know that the team is not doing that well. The last few seasons, but I mean, there's always a transition in the club level. But I will always support them lah. Still, the best is the Alex Ferguson era lah. So, yeah.
No, Mr. JB,
okay.
Mr. JB, you are not. Don't tell me you are a Liverpool fan, because.
No. I'm saying like you. I'm a Man United fan as well.
He's a Man U fan, but I'm a Arsenal fan.
Alamak, the wrong person. Arsenal fan. Okay lah.
Yeah, that's
Arsenal
right.
still can accept, huh?
I mean, stay as at Liverpool, no.
Yeah, that's right. Arsenal fans are more nicer than Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
Of course, more nicer after your trash us 8-2. We are more generally nicer to you.
Yeah, Arsenal fans are very nice. Like Arsenal fans can accept criticism. I mean, not saying much about the other teams lah, but that's one thing good about Arsenal fans. Very grounded, down to earth.
Right,
okay, so my question to Coach Noali, I understand that you've been through that phase from being a player to a coach, and I believe just to touch on a bit as a player, I believe you played as a forward during your time. I think as far back as me and Faiz remembers lah, you were a striker, and at that point of time, I do believe that size actually plays a part, because you're actually not the biggest strikers around, right? Based on size. So how do you actually elevate your game? Because normally strikers are usually quite tall or quite big size, but you on the other hand is quite petite, but you still have that pace. So my question to you is that, is striker your first choice position, or is that something that your coach back in the day kind of recommend you to play?
Good question.
Usually I'm more on the wide lah, in the wide areas. I prefer, especially on the left and on the right areas, but sometimes the coach will deploy me on I know, as a striker, but I think the reason being that because I think during my my heydays, I mean, it's like my asset is speed, you know, and I'm strong with my 1v1 situations, you know. So I think that is something, and I have an eye for goal, you know, coming from midfield into play, you know. So I think that's something like coaches like Jang Jung, when I was playing back then for him, you know, sometimes he just deploy me, you know, as a striker, you know. Even I played for Kim Paulson, you know, he does that certain part of the game, you know. So I would say that's not my best position. I still prefer on the flanks, you know, knowing what I can do. But I mean, at that point of time during my days, nobody wants to lose their position. No, if the coach tell you, only you have to play goalkeeper, I'll play goalkeeper, man. So I don't lose my position, you know. So because of the competition is so high, you know, you cannot afford to get injured, cannot afford to get suspended, because the quality of players is there all the time. So not my best position, but I'll still prefer on the flanks. But you know, if I'm given the task, I'll definitely give my 100%. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, speaking of tasks, right? I'm not sure if you recall back in 2013. This one just to test your memory a bit. I understand that at that point of time, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you're probably an assistant coach, I think, under Coach Kanan, yeah?
Yeah.
And I believe the game, there's a game against LB Rex where it takes some persuasion for you to come out of retirement to actually play for Geylang.
Right.
At that point of time,
not
due to
bad,
injury.
You all do proper research, on this,
we do.
So basically just share with us that thought process. How, I mean, okay, the situation is quite unique, I understand, due to injuries. But how did the whole persuasion begin, and what makes you, you know, to accept it? And if I recall correctly, the scoreline was a 0-0 draw, I think.
Yeah, a 0-0 draw. So basically, okay, this is the best thing, you know. I mean, like, I was staying in Johor at that time. So actually, I was just past. I still remember the whole incident at that point of time. So I just passed custom, I think about 7+ in the morning. I was about to send my wife to work, and then I saw Coach Kanan pulling in, you know. And that's one day before the game. So that's on Friday. And I don't know how they make this happen. So they were like, yeah, so he was telling me, like, you know, I need your help. You know, we don't have players. You know, I think you still can play. Can you go for medical? You know, ask me to go medical straight away. You know, at that point of time. And actually, I said no to him because my wife said don't come back. You know, because the mental aspect of the players, my time and this group of boys is totally different. You know, because we hate losing, and our methods are very different. You know, we are more the aggressive one. You know, so actually I said no. You know, and then after that, I don't know what happened. I decided to say yes. You know, I said okay lah, I go for the medical. So I went for the medical that morning. In the evening, when the boys was preparing against Balestier, against Abrex, that means they are preparing one day before -1. So I had to run the 2.4 because I need to pass the 2.4.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
So I actually ran. I ran, and I still remember this. In the Coach Kanan, in the last round, you know, I'm like flying. You know, my hands and legs are all over the places, and he's running. You know, trying to push me to clear the 2.4. So I actually cleared the 2.4. Wow. And to be honest, I didn't even think that he will even start me the next day. You know. So I think I played about the game about 80 minutes, I think. 80 minutes. Wow. I crossed one ball. That was the last ball. After that, I got cramps. After that, I asked him to take me out already, you know. Yeah. But I think at that point of time, it's just, you know, the love for the game, lah. You know, I mean, you have been playing the game, you know, and I was still fit back then. If I want to continue playing, I could have continued playing, you know, but I wanted to pursue my coaching career. But it was nice to come back, and, you know, and after a good retirement, and then you come back, and actually you can, for me, the happiest thing is I cleared the 2.4 instead of playing the whole season. Because it just says that, you know, the hard work that you have put in throughout the years, it's actually pay off, you know, because you are still keeping yourself fit to come back and play after, you know, 6 months of layout. So I mean, okay, that was one good of the highlight during my career, lah. You know, I mean, like, you came back and play and have a bit more fun with the boys, you know. But after that, I decided not to go because the 2.4 was just killing, lah.
Yeah, and it's quite impressive because since you mentioned 2.4, back then you are 38. So I think that's quite impressive there. 38 years old. I mean, not many can actually complete the 2.4. Even I myself would struggle, I think.
I myself
And I'm like years younger. Yeah, but okay. I mean, since you mentioned that you're gonna focus on being a coach, so I believe that you wouldn't come out of retirement now lah. Now is way too late lah, based on your stamina.
Now my
would you come
my
back? Would you
my
come back if there's a chance for one
Yeah,
season?
if there's a chance. I don't know, probably a keeper.
no
for 10 minutes.
Now I'm running with one ball in my shirt already. My stomach is so big. There's no chance. You know. Even I mean,
Maybe a 10 minute
of course,
substitute come on, you know, coach come on.
no lah, not now lah, not now. Now is done and over with the thing lah. You know, but to be honest, it's better being a player than be a coach. You know, because you only handle one player. If I was a player, I only need to take care of myself. Now I gotta take care of 20 players. You know,
that's
so that's not easy, especially in our context. You know, to take care of 20 players. You know, so it's very different. It's very different. You know, because you only take care of yourself, your nutrition, your training program, you know, your stuff. Now you gotta look at all the 20 players, you know. If you don't take care of them, you know, some of them will just go on the wrong path, you know. So it's not easy. It's a very big task being a coach in Singapore. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a very interesting point to mention that being a coach is tough. So I think that kind of sums up my next question actually. So being a coach is tougher than being a player during your time.
Definitely. I mean, definitely. It's tougher.
Yeah. It is a very tough game, and I believe, you know, since you being a United fan, I mean, whatever happened to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a little, you know, I mean, I'm not sure if the thought actually comes to your mind, like, hey, you know, I'm also once a player and I'm a coach, you know, what that situation end up with me, you know, and I believe you also mentioned, I think in the past interviews where, you know, people tend to forget the good things that you do over a string of bad results and based on the current situation. So I believe that is, it's very common, and especially now, you know, in the age of social media and everything else, I think it's very different from the time you are growing up, Coach Noor Ali, especially now with social media where everyone, you know, is always giving their opinions and all kinds of, you know, 2 cents, you know. Yeah, and I believe some of them may even give you coaching tips, being, you know, they are not even qualified coach sometimes, you know, on certain decisions that you make. So
I mean, fans are always like the number one coach in their head, always. You know, we always have our own opinion to share. So.
Yeah, that's right. And I believe in the SPL, I think Geylang has like one of the best fan base, if I recall correctly, recent memory. If you compare to the rest of the fans, I believe LCS is also, you know, slowly taking a book from that. But I believe Geylang fans are one of the best.
Pretty much up there as well in terms of fans.
That's right. Yep. So just a quick one before I end. I believe looking ahead, you know, I believe this season is something that you probably want to write off. You know, probably wasn't your best. We've seen you finish, I think, even better back in 2019, where Geylang qualified for the AFC Cup and everything else. So just a short, you know, summary of what to look forward, you know, next season in Geylang. I believe players are coming in and out, and probably still is. So
you know, I think we've been keeping up with the news. I think Coach Noor Ali, you've been the most busiest alongside with Balestier. So sure.
Yeah, a lot of transfers.
Okay lah. For me, it's like I mean, I went to Japan one year. I think all of you know that I went to Japan 1 year, and it was a very, very good I think experience for me there. You know, because what I learned from there, trying to bring back to Singapore is never easy, you know, but it's a trial and error thing. And I'm happy to say that, you know, 2019, 2020, we had a good season with the league, in the league, you know, and we managed to qualify for AFC in 2 years when I came back. And of course, this season was not the best season that, you know, no coach wants to finish the bottom of the season, you know, and lose so many players at the end of the day. But like I say, one thing I always look at the positive side and pick up from wherever, you know, whatever I need to improve on as a coach. You can never write off the season. For me, I don't look back, but when I look forward, I want to improve on myself, you know. And I'm happy to see even this group of players who have been with me for the last 3 years, if they go out there and they have better contracts and they are being developed to be, if you have better contract, that means I'm doing a good job. The club is doing a good job, because Because at the end of the day, we make you a better player. If not, other clubs will not be offering you good money, good contracts, you know.
That's
So
true.
you always think about the positive side of the game, you know. For me, I just learn from the mistake, you know, and then just move on. I don't think it's the same to anybody, any coach. That doesn't mean one result or one season makes you a bad coach. You know, it's the same thing going to with Ole, because at the end of the day, what does the whole structure want, or what's the club want? If you want to go for result, then you know you have to you have to sign good players. You have to maybe even find a top coach. You know, but I think whatever, I'm going back to Ole. Yeah, whatever Ole has done last season, you know, and then based on whatever now, you know, with the signing of Ronaldo, you know, do they think that does this suit the Man U style? You know, because if you look at even now with the new coach, of course they are getting better in terms of the pressing game. But do you think that they can play Ronaldo the next 20 games and do the same thing? No, I don't think so.
No.
You know, so you know, I hate mentioning this, but this is something that, you know, look at the age average of the Liverpool team and look at how they get things done. You know, every player that comes in is still the same. They does the same thing. They do the same thing. So it's a process for me. I learned a lot of things this year, and with the new players, new signing, and new team, I think these boys will. It's a big challenge, because the group of players I take has not achieved anything in the league. You know, or maybe the last 4 seasons they have been sitting at the bottom of the table. So this is a chance for them to go out there, and it's also a challenge for me. Let's see, it's a new challenge like 2019 now. Let's see what this team can do. You know, and I love these kind of challenges. You see, at the end of the day, as coaches, as first team coaches, we know what's the risk of the game. If you don't do or you don't get the result, it's normal for you to go.
It's a result
but
business.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's a result business. You know. Now I understand fans have their opinion. You know, the football people has their opinion. The coaches have their opinion. You know, you just got to respect whatever they say. You know, everybody has something to say. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting on the hot seat. You know, they are watching the game and having fun, because after that, you know, they will throw the tickets out and they will go back. You know,
that's true.
You know, I still go back, write report, cannot sleep. Tomorrow, next day, got to go to the training. So for me, I just got to stay positive every single time. You know, I think this is important as a coach. You know, yeah, it's not easy, but I respect the opinions of everyone. You know, you have, whether you are qualified, you're not qualified. You know, you can say whatever you want. Good, I take. No good is a motivation. You know, if it's critic, is a motivation. It's good, then I take. No problem. You know, sometimes you say something 90%. Out the I can take 10%. I'll take, no problem. It just make me a better person. Nothing to lose, right? So for me, is definitely a challenge. But at this point in time, I'm enjoying whatever I'm doing lah. So whether the result, whether whatever position I stand, I think what's important is, you know, you got to keep on enjoying what you do and then believe in what you do and stay positive lah.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Just one last question. If you can just quickly touch on this, would you want to be the national team coach? Is that your end goal?
I mean, everybody wants to be okay. Everybody wants to be the national team coach. There's no coach that is currently now in the top team coach will say that, oh no, I'm not targeting the national team coach. You know, everyone wants to be the national team coach. Even if you ask a coach who have C license, A, B license, they will tell you they want to coach the team license, the national team. But I think to be able to be at that level, you know, I think we need to have that experience, composure, you know, that kind of high level coaching. You know, for me, coaching at SPL level, going to first team, it's still not good enough to you know, you have to go overseas, venture out, you know, do things, you know, work with different environment, work with different people, you know, then we will understand what is high level football. Because if you look at the Suzuki Cup right now, I know this is going to be your next question. So you look at the Suzuki Cup right now, okay, you look at the high level teams like Vietnam and Thailand, you know, look at them, you know, that's high level football. You know, so definitely, if you ask me one day, maybe not now, maybe a bit more when I get my hair a bit more, some more gray hair, gray hair here, gray hair there. Then maybe I'll start.
That's right,
I'll
Alex
start thinking
Ferguson
about.
hair.
Yeah.
Then,
There, you see, you get wiser, right? Smarter.
Awesome. Okay. Of course, before we move on to the topic of the AFF Suzuki Cup, there is a question from Harun Nazri. He wants me to convey to you since he's not able to join.
Okay.
So I just share this one last question for your Q&A before we can move on. So let me just start. Okay. So you say, hi, coach. Sorry, I can't be with everyone tonight. Just one question. And again, this is relating to what you had mentioned earlier, your stint at Japan. So you said that, do you find any difference between coaching local players and Japanese players during your stint in Japan? What's the one thing that stood out for you? Mentality, eagerness, respect, or desire? Thanks, coach. I hope to see you real soon. Take care. So he wants to know your stint in Japan. What's the difference in coaching local players and Japanese players?
I think whatever is mentioned by Hairu just now, what he eager, respect, discipline, everything about these Japanese players that you just love coaching them. You look forward to go to training with them. It's like, I only see this in the army with the local boys in the army. You only get this way in the army. The minute they come out in the army, they become a rascal again. Okay, I don't know whether this show I can say that or not. Okay, so the problem is, when I go to the training sessions in Japan, when I come down, the training starts at 4:30. My assistant coaches are all there. 3:30, they're all there. Prepare everything. 4:30 start. My boys are all there. Like 45 minutes, because most of them school, you guys taking the under 18.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes, half an hour before the training start, everybody is on the pitch doing activation and doing certain exercise they want to do. They start playing, juggling with the ball and everything. But you see, this is a routine for them on a daily basis. It's not. I don't need to go there.
Is it like a culture? Is it just culture?
Yes, that's the word. Actually. That's the word. So the word is actually culture, because they are brought up that way. You see how they eat. You see how they put back the plates and the cups that they eat. That's how they play football. After they finish training, you see everybody taking the cones, markers, ball, make sure it's clean, everything put like that. Everything they put nicely. So okay, this is I'm just talking about off the field. These are all the field stuff. That discipline, they bring it onto the pitch.
That's
so
the kind of discipline we want to see on the pitch.
Yeah, because the problem is always start off the pitch, right? Because if you talk about someone, outside, it always starts from home. So these boys, they start, so these boys, they start somewhere. So when they come to the field, they are the same person. I've not seen any player, they talk bad about the coach, or they talk against the coach. They are always positive. You tell them something they don't know, they come and ask you. And you see the level of commitment, that these boys and the coaches give. That is something that I learned so much, and I'll just give you a normal daily routine in my Japan. So I wake up about 7+, and then I have to go down for breakfast with the boys.
Oh, okay.
So like 7:30, I go down, breakfast with the boys, and then they are off to school. I'm off to the office. So 9 o'clock when I come to the office, so basically what happened is they will basically prepare my video analysis and everything for me to watch. So while watching and discussing, at 1 o'clock we have a coaches meeting. Okay. So with the coaches meeting, I'm giving Hairul, right? So I'm giving Hairul because Hairul Nazri, because I know he's coaching also. So so at 1 o'clock we have a coaches meeting. So in the coaches meeting, so as a head coach, I will present myself, and I have like 8 to 9 coaches, and I'll stand on there. I'll tell them, okay, today this is what we're gonna do. This is what. So I will just detail out the coaches what I need to do.
Yeah.
after that, lunch, straight we are off to the pitch already.
Wow.
So
It's that
that's
quick.
like the
It's just straightforward.
straightforward. So the next day, let's say, so today, let's say it's Friday, right? So once we finish everything, we so the next thing, the first thing in the morning when I come to the office, that my video analyst actually came to me and just say like, Coach, this is yesterday's training session.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You don't even need to ask him.
They just
He knows his job.
just on its own. Yeah.
So that's discipline. Because if I've been in Singapore, like, you know, after I came back to Japan 3-4 years, you know, if you're gonna ask a local coach to do even one thing, I not all, I won't say all, you know, some of them, you just ask them to do one thing, it takes them 3 days. They will give you excuses. My cat, I will send my cat to the doctor lah. I got this, I got that lah.
I mean, we
so
as Singaporeans,
excuses,
we
you know.
heard that kind of excuse every day, so we kind of probably know the
Yeah.
culture
So,
of ours.
correct. So the thing is, you know, coming back from Japan, you know, I'm trying myself to change things and make things better in terms of changing that mentality with the club coaches and everything. Of course, not all of them. I've seen some of my coaches like Daniel, which was with me in 2019. He was with me 1 year. He has progressed so much, learned so much. You know, he's in LCS. So that's something that I'm happy. You know, Syed Azmi is also in Balestier right now, you know. These are coaches who are willing to put in the effort and learn and do some things, you know. So, but of course, it's like I say, it's a learning process. But Japan, I mean, that's one place that if you're a coach, you want to go there as much. In Asia, lah, Japan. I've been to Japan. I've been to Korea. So I've seen both sides of the coaching. But Japan, I was much more. Japan, I'm much more longer down there because Japan is more technically and tactically. You know, Koreans. You talk about discipline. Korean, I think, is more crazy. They have crazy fitness.
Really?
Korean is crazy. Korean is crazy fitness. You know, I think if you stay there 1 month, you come back, you're 2.4. I think 7 minutes flat already. So
wow,
they are crazy. They are crazy people. So the experience, the professionalism, you know, the discipline with these boys, you know, is fantastic. I just give you one example. So after every training, all of us have to go for dinner.
Yeah.
Now, including me. So of course, my dinner is cooked by someone who has halal food lah. So like everyone sit on a long table. Now, you cannot move until your food finish.
Until everybody food finish or just
no, until yours.
Oh, okay.
If I finish my food, I can go off.
Okay.
And the problem is, it's not a small portion. They got like rice, they got like beef, they got chicken, they got apple, they got salad.
Oh wow.
Then they give you one drink. So even I myself, my first 2 weeks, I was struggling so much until I went to them and say like, can I have a just small portion? Because I said I want to go and sleep right now, you know, because by the time I eat, you know, I might finish 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., you know. So that is how disciplined these boys are. You know, it's off the pitch. Yeah. So I think very good experience. A lot of positive things that I've learned in Japan. And you must see, you must look at how the professional level they are. That's the key point of everything. You know, discipline and the professional setup is class.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe one day Azrul, one day we meet up, then we can have more chats.
Sure. So Harun Nazir, if you're watching this and listening to it, you can always find Coach Noor Ali, of course. He is our idol.
No, say that. Yeah.
Okay, finally, now we can move on to the topic of our discussion. Of course, Coach Noor Ali, thank you for sharing with us of all your stories. Of course, we would definitely love to hear more. But now we want to know more about your thoughts in the AFF Suzuki Cup that's going on right now. Of course, previously in our podcast, the last that we actually had been discussing about this was about 2 weeks ago. It was just before Suzuki Cup started. So we have a prediction game. So now, basically, we're coming towards the end of the group stage. Coach Noor Ali, going to start with you first. In one word or one sentence that you can come up with, What are your thoughts about Singapore right now?
Wow. What's my thought about Singapore? Um,
If you can put in one word or one sentence, or
I
if you
mean, at
elaborate
this point in time, I'll just say they're a very tactical team.
very tactical team. Yeah, it is definitely.
Mm,
But
mm.
if you can pick one player that you feel stand out for you in this tournament by our squad, who would you pick?
Uh, I will pick Safwan.
Safwan Baharudin, yeah. I mean, I think it's very commanding center back. It's like super solid over
I
there.
think I think the reason is also I think at this point in time I think we have one of the strongest defense lah. You
Yeah,
know, at this point of time lah. At this point
yeah,
of time, we don't know. You know, tomorrow we're playing Thailand, so
yeah.
yeah. But at this point of time, we have one of the strongest defense. I think the team work together defensively. Um, of course, I expecting more from the attacking players. We know people like Shawal, Faris, Iksan, but maybe you have not seen them yet. You know, so hopefully they
Yeah.
can pick up by the time we are in the semi-finals. But I think one player definitely, I think Safwan has done well. Safwan and Shakir quite close, these two. You know, but I
These
think
two are pairing
Safwan,
quite well, very well in terms of.
yeah.
So totally agree with
So,
that. Mr. JB, just quickly over to you. Your thoughts about Singapore right now, and of course, similar to what Coach Noali that I asked earlier, which player is stand out to you?
Yeah, I have to agree with Coach Noali there. I think our back line looks pretty solid. You know, it's been a while since you see a pretty, I would say, a well-experienced, well-balanced back line that we have, you know, with Irfan and I believe Shaki as well. I believe this is the kind of age that they are reaching lah. And also congrats to I believe Safwan who's gotten his 100 caps. I think for the national team, I think that is also a big achievement in itself. You know, regardless of
Congratulations.
how he plays. I mean, to represent the country 100 caps, that is an achievement really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just to touch on your first part, how Singapore doing right now. I think it's quite okay. The fact that I don't recall we conceding any goals so far.
We did concede one with Philippines.
It was the okay, yes. So technically, I think defensive wise, we are still quite okay. I believe the recent Timor Leste game, like what Coach Noali mentioned, I think with the attacking front that we have, we are expecting more goals lah, especially Philippines with that 7-0 against Timor Leste. But I mean, you know, this is football at the end of the day. I mean, if you look at the way Timor Leste comes out to play against Singapore, I believe they stacked up pretty okay. I mean, in terms of possession and everything else, it's a bit unfortunate their finishing isn't quite there yet. But you have to give credit where it's due. I mean, it's probably like, you know, the last game before they have to, you know, pack their bags and leave. So why not go out with a bang, you know, against the host? So yeah, I believe on that part, probably the fans are a little bit disappointed with the scoreline. And going against Thailand tomorrow, it's quite tough as well. But I believe the whole talk is actually more on Group B. I think Group B is the more interesting group to touch on. Yep, that's right. So yeah, that's my take.
Okay, back to you, Coach Noali. I mean, of course, in Group A, is Thailand and Singapore are guaranteed to go through. With, of course, as of recording, we are facing Thailand, which I'm going to get to you both. Just a quick prediction, what you guys think. But I'm going to touch a bit on Group B. Which is quite happening right now. Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia are basically the three contenders of fighting the top two. If being a, Singapore fan like us and yourself, Coach Noali, which one would you rather face in the semi-final?
I think Singapore Malaysia will be a good game.
Singapore Malaysia semi-final.
I mean, okay, but what I'm trying to say is okay. What I say is that Singapore Malaysia will be a very very good game. You know, the rivalry, playing the semi-finals, two-legger. You know, you will create a lot of hypes and everything. You know, but saying that, you know, after watching Indonesia playing Vietnam, and the way they have put in the effort to actually get a draw, you know, that was a very important point for them. You know,
it was a crucial draw.
Yeah, it was a very crucial draw. So I don't think they're gonna make it easy for Malaysia on Sunday, because you know you are fighting with the best team currently in Asia. So getting 1 point away, you know how bad this 1 point will mean going to Malaysia game. So I think it's going to be a tough call. I think, you know, but definitely Vietnam will go through, you know, unless miracle happens, you know, against Cambodia. But if you ask me between Malaysia and Indonesia, I actually said in the last podcast with
Yeah, we did watch. I know it's
So
very. I know it's hard for me to ask you the same question, but
no. The funny part is this. The funny part is because the question was asked before the Malaysia Indonesian game, and I thought, yeah. So I actually said Malaysia. You know, I told Roshan and this guy Zul. I say I think it's Malaysia going with Vietnam. But looking at Indonesia last game, and how technically smart they were, you know, against Vietnam, you know, I think it's going to be a 50-50 chance. It's going to be a tough call, but I'm not going to change. I'll still say Malaysia because that Singapore-Malaysia rivalry would be nice to see in the semi-finals. Yeah.
That is awesome. Mr. JB, over to you. Among, I mean, your preference. Do you agree? Like, would you go with Malaysia and Vietnam to be in the semi-finals? Or are you impressed by Indonesia and maybe, you know, Singapore face Indonesia in semi-finals?
Nah, I still stick to my prediction the last time we discussed. You know, I feel like Malaysia do have the team. You know, it's just that I believe, like what Coach Noali mentioned, I think Indonesia really caught everyone by surprise. Because it's been a while since we see them play and everything else, and I believe this team really prove a point, you know, against Vietnam. But in all honesty, against Vietnam, I think it's more of a defensive masterclass because to be honest, I think they only have one shot, I think, throughout the entire 90 minutes. So they obviously come up with that game plan and, you know, not going out on attack. I mean, it's a huge risk, you know, especially against Vietnam. But they managed to pull it off, you know, the draw, and I believe it's definitely a step closer for them. But then again, I still feel that Malaysia can somewhat edge Indonesia out probably this Sunday, and it will be an interesting one. Of course, Singapore's position, we need to start doing our job first because you know the game against Thailand is crucial because if we were to finish second in the group, I do feel that Vietnam will definitely finish top lah.
Which is what I'm now noticing now that both of you have mentioned either Malaysia or Indonesia that we would rather face rather than Vietnam. So that kind of says a lot about how confident are we with our squad against Vietnam. Is there a reason for that, Coach Noali? Like we do know Vietnam played really well, but
like I said earlier on, I mean, if you want to win the cup, you must not worry about who you play lah. Because then, you know, because if you're gonna pick who is gonna play, actually Singapore has no choice because Singapore Thailand is playing on Saturday. You know, so for me, Singapore should go and try to finish top of the table. You know, they must go out there and beat Thailand. I'm not saying it's going to be easy against Malaysia or Indonesia. If let's say they finish second and Vietnam finish top, but what I'm trying to say is like, you know, at least you know there'll be a good fight because to be honest, Vietnam is too strong. You know, Vietnam is too strong. You know, I mean. You can get that one Indonesia game that you end up 1-0 because we must not forget Vietnam had 20 shots which is one on target, you know, but you look at how they dominate the game and you know it's Vietnam is class above the rest at this point of time, but don't be surprised with Thailand because I still think that they have not really picked yet in the tournament because it seems like they are changing players. They have not fielded a team that can be say their first 11. You know, like Vietnam, you can see Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. You know, but Thailand, you have not seen their best 11 out yet. Like you know, actually these guys how they're gonna play. They keep on changing everything, every formation, every system, every game. You know, so. It's a very interesting team with Thailand, and I think tomorrow they will definitely go full force because I don't think they also want to play Vietnam. So they will want to finish top also. So I think tomorrow we will see something from a different Thailand team lah. So hopefully our Singapore side will come out and be at their best lah.
Yeah, let's hope our boys are up for it. So we're gonna have a quick prediction before we move on to our quiz game. But Mr. JB, you're gonna be the first one. Do you think Terrasil is gonna cause us trouble for tomorrow? Of course,
Oh, for sure,
after
for
breaking
sure.
No Alam Shah record, our
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
our
wow.
precious record is gone.
I mean, he's aging like fine wine, lah. We talk about Cristiano
Yeah.
Ronaldo and everything else.
Yeah.
We in Southeast Asia also we have in Tirasil, lah. So I do believe that he's a class act, lah. I mean, of course he can do, but again, football is a team sport. I believe him doing well is actually the success of his teammates. You know,
Yep.
at the end of the day. So yeah, I do feel that he's gonna come out strong. But again, I have to agree with Coach Noali. You know, I think Singapore right now, I mean, we are being the host. You know, forget the FIFA rankings. You know, yes, at the moment, I think in terms of FIFA ranking, I think Vietnam is the top right now in terms of Southeast Asia, followed by Thailand and what have you. So forget the ranking, forget everything else. When you are in a tournament, the end product is to win. You know, or the end product is to
Yeah.
go as far as possible. So whoever that's in front of you, even if it's Vietnam the next round, by all means, man, at least go out with your shield. You know, go out with your pride. You know, play your best,
Yep.
and you know, hopefully the result will go your way.
So a quick scoreline. What your scoreline is gonna be?
For Singapore Thailand.
Yeah, just a quick
Oh,
one.
okay. Wow, I think scoreline is a bit tough, lah. But I do feel that Singapore may edge it on a 1 goal margin, probably 2-1 or 3-2.
Nice. Coach Nali, you have a scoreline of your own?
I'll say 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was the
awesome.
last game score when I play against Thailand 1-1. So I scored.
is
So
it?
I'll get 1-1. Yeah.
Oh, a repeat of
Yeah,
how many years?
2002.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost 20
So I
years.
go with 1-1. Oh, 20. Oh, yeah.
20 years already.
Wow.
Okay, awesome.